Hey guys, Enzo Flo here, and this is the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast, the only show that brings you the latest scoop on everything basketball in the Philippines. Whether you're a diehard fan, a casual observer, or just looking for some good old-fashioned hoop talk, you've come to the right place. Now first, how did this come to be? What is this? Why is it called Mabuhay? And who am I? Well, to try and answer all those questions, let's begin with why this podcast is called Mabuhay, or the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast. Well, it's very, very simple. Mabuhay is, as we all know, no? It's a Filipino Tagalog term used to express a warm welcome, good wishes, and greetings. I felt this would work as a title for a podcast about Philippine basketball because, in many ways, it represents the essence of Filipino culture and hospitality. Moreover, Philippine basketball has a very strong following. It is deeply rooted in the country's culture. Mabuhay can also serve as an invitation to explore the world of Philippine basketball and celebrate our country's love for this sport. Furthermore, itong mabuhay kasi, diba, meron siyang positive connotation. It can inspire listeners to feel excited about the topics we're going to cover. It can also serve as a way to kind of bring together or unite basketball fans and create a sense of community, no matter if you're a fan of Ginebra or TNT or UP or LaSalle or Ateneo or San Beda or UST. On a personal level, Mabuhay can also be connected, no, to what I would like to call a resurgence, a rebirth, or parang pagbabalik, a return of sorts. Yung mabuhay kasi, diba, it can be used to signify like a new beginning or a fresh start. Which, to be honest, for me, personally, individually, is very, very relevant. Because, in some ways, I'm returning to content creation. Now, maybe some of you know me, maybe some of you have heard of me, maybe some of you have even read my blog, which I actually started in 2011, and that's how I started creating content for Philippine basketball. When I started my simple blog on blogger.com back when it was still really a big thing, called hoopnut.blogspot.com. And because of that blog, I got to get so many opportunities. Now, doors open to write for other platforms. I was able to write for outfits like Rappler and Rivals.com back in the day with my good friend Josiah Albelda. I was able to write for mainstream media outfits as well, like TV5, ABS-CBN Sports. I even wrote for the PBA website for a time. I even got to write for a broadsheet, the Daily Tribune as well. And maybe the biggest door it opened in terms of writing was actually writing for the International Basketball Federation, or FIBA.basketball. Up until today, to date, I think, and this might need some verification, but I might be the first and only Filipino columnist on FIBA. So that's something I hold very dear and something that I'm continuing to do to this day. And jumping off from writing, I was privileged enough as well to, believe it or not, go on camera for the biggest media outfit in the Philippines, ABS-CBN. Back in 2014, it started. I got to cover UAAP basketball games live in the arenas, on camera as well. I was even lucky enough to guest on The Score, on Hardball, on several shows as well. And extremely privileged to have worked with some of the best guys in the business. We're talking about Boom Gonzalez, TJ Manotoc, Anton Rojas, all these heavyweights of Philippine sports coverage. And believe it or not, after that, got some opportunities to coach as well. Yes, to coach. Back in 2017, I started coaching one of the teams in Ateneo as an assistant coach. Shout out to my very first head coach, Coach J.M. Pilares from our Paya and Prada Juniors days. and eventually getting a break and being able to coach at the UAAP level for Ateneo's Blue Eagles Juniors basketball program. Shout out also to my former colleagues in the Eaglets coaching staff, especially to our head coach, Coach Reggie Valida. And of course, to one of my other head coaches, Coach Reggie Arumin, with whom I won a very memorable championship back in 2019 for Ateneo's Paya Aspirants squad. And those are all very, very wonderful times, wonderful years of writing, analyzing, and coaching. However, when the pandemic started in 2020, I stepped away from content. In part because they closed down ABS-CBN, and there was really no platform anymore to really share content out there. For a while, I toyed with the chance to create my own podcast, but something always held me back, no? And maybe, I don't know, maybe this is what they call imposter syndrome, when you feel like you're not really as good as you think, or you doubt if what you're doing actually gives value to the people out there. But throughout the past few years, even during the pandemic, I was privileged enough to still guest in some shows, in some podcasts, and people still kind of interact and engage, especially in social media. And a few weeks ago, when so many things were happening in Philippine basketball, the pool for the Philippine national team for the SEA Games was released. Kai Soto moving to the B League. So many high school stars moving from one school to the other. I posted on social media about why is there no daily basketball podcast in the Philippines when there's so much content to be created. And I got some messages from some friends, some relatives, some people who actually asked me, hey, why don't you do it? Why don't you start a podcast? And my initial reaction was no, because I wasn't confident anyone would listen. I wasn't confident anyone would see value in this. But with the support of some wonderful people who pushed me and who gave me inspiration and motivation to do it, here I am. I don't know how long this is gonna last. I'm not even sure if we're gonna reach the next UAP season. But at least we're starting something. And in some ways, I've been inspired by many basketball players who bet on themselves, who went abroad, went to the B League, the KBL, Kai going to Australia. These kids, they bet on themselves and their talent. They bet on how they believed they could offer some value. And I think it's high time that I believe in that myself. That there's value in the insights I can share, or we can share with each other and with your audience. Because this is not just me. I plan to engage with and spotlight many of the insights and many of the comments of Filipino basketball fans everywhere as well. And this all circles back to why we chose Mabuhay. Because using Mabuhay in this context can convey a sense of anticipation. Parang nakaka-excite, diba, for what's to come. It also serves as a way to acknowledge everything that happened before while looking forward to what's gonna happen in the future. And pag sinabi natin Mabuhay, we are celebrating life, growth, and evolution. And hopefully, we can see that growth and evolution of Philippine basketball as well. Especially this year, because this year is big. We have the redemption team for the SEA Games. We have the Asian Games after such a long time. And of course, in the Philippines, we're hosting the biggest basketball event on the planet, the FIBA Basketball World Cup. So for me, Mabuhay signifies a renewed energy and enthusiasm. And I hope we can all feel that and share that through this podcast. We want to create a sense of anticipation and community for what's to come in Philippine basketball. Now, again, honestly, I'm not even sure how long this podcast will be or how long I can keep this up. Pero tingnan natin. We'll see. At least ngayon, may buhay na. Sometimes, we don't know how far a journey can go. But still, we take that first step. After all, we just have to start, diba? And maybe, the story is gonna write itself. And so, from the cemento courts of each barangay to the hard courts of the PBA, from the colors of your favorite school team to the quad colors of Gilas Pilipinas. We'll cover multiple angles, engage the fans, and break the issues down to give you a unique picture of what's happening in the world of Philippine basketball. We're going to try to bring you insights and perspectives from the passionate and knowledgeable Filipino fan base. And, crossing my fingers here, hopefully we can also interview some of the biggest names in the game, including players, coaches, fellow media personnel, and analysts alike. But we're not going to stop there. We won't just focus on the glitz and glamour of the biggest stars. We'll also try to shine a spotlight on the grassroots of Philippine basketball, highlighting the talent and stories of up-and-coming players, coaches, and teams who are shaping the future of the sport in the Philippines. So, whether you're a fan of the PBA, of Ginebra, of San Miguel, Pure Foods, Crispa, TNT, whether you're a fan of the UAAP or the NCAA, if you're a fan of UP, Ateneo, LaSalle, UST, Salveda, Letran, whichever school, whether you're a fan of Gilas or any other league in the Philippines, we've got you covered. And if you're just discovering the exciting world of Philippine basketball, we're here to guide you through every dunk, crossover, three-pointer, and every controversial issue or college transfer. So get ready to be entertained, informed, and inspired as we delve into the world of Philippine basketball. Mabuhay tayong lahat! Mabuhay ang Philippine basketball fans! Mabuhay ang Philippine basketball! This is the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast. Let's talk some hoops. For our next episode, which is our very first proper episode, we'll spotlight some fan comments on some of the most recent and biggest player movements in college basketball. We're going to look at some fan reactions to the PBA Governors Cup Finals and discuss the tournaments awaiting our Gilas Pilipinas basketball teams. It drops tomorrow, so watch out for that. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed creating it. Don't forget to follow and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you have a moment, please leave us a rating and review. It really helps us out. You can also follow me on Twitter at Hoopnut or Instagram at TheHoopnut for more content and updates. Until next time, keep betting on yourself, shooting your shot, and seizing the moment.